Panda Strong Podcast. We interview Canada's top female amateur to pro strength athletes. We do this to empower women across the globe and beyond to train and compete for strength sports. I'm Stephanie, aka Thick Stephanie, fantastic, the dancer. I'm a dancer fitness educator from Manitoba, Canada, and I do the strongman, and I sometimes throw things in heavy games. And I like to lift heavy things and grunt and make a lot of noise. And that's what we do. So today's episode, I have the lovely, the amazing Tanya Stevens. She is incredible. Today, we're going to talk about how to overcome challenges in your life right now and celebrate your body and the fantastic human that you are. And she is a strong woman, okay? And she's also, she was Canada's top strong woman in a weight category in 2018. And you can follow her on IG at
Tanya Stevens 1. I had to think for a second.
Because there's only one Tanya Stevens, yeah. Okay? That's better recognized. There's only one, all right? Yeah, so stay tuned for the whole show for exciting news, tips, and amazing things about her story, how she got started in the sport and became one of the top athletes in Canada. So yeah, thank you for being here today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I'm excited for this.
I'm a privileged woman, okay? I'm so excited to ask you things. So anyways, like I said, peeps, like to check out our website, pandastrong.ca. Important to note, if you're new to our podcast, we just started our Panda Strong apparel brand, which is for female athletes. We'll be launching other lines, which is really cool, very shortly. But we've got you hooked up with every kind of gym apparel you could possibly need. Please give us a 5-star rating if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Follow, subscribe, share, and please let us know if there's any other guests that you would like to see on the show, and comment and let Tanya Stevens know how her story inspired you. So, Tanya, Strongman. Yes. Now, you train out of Meadow Performance Training Center in Regina, Saskatchewan, and you are sponsored by Cereba Strength Canada. So much Canada. Yeah, you competed in powerlifting for 8 years. You won national records, including the biggest bench in CPU of 165 kg. And you also have you've been doing the strongman for the 6 years. You won Static Monsters in Regina in 2018 with a 290 kg deadlift. I mean, yeah. I can't even say it because it makes me insecure. Like, I need to go hit the gym. Like, she's like, I'm just like lifting cars right here. No big deal. I'm just going to walk by this and see that big guy in the corner, the bouncer. I'm just going to lift him for fun.
Yeah.
And she also enjoys ice fishing. She's actually a Red Seal chef, which is amazing. I mean, yes. Of course, her macros and micros are on point, okay? Because she's chef. Can you come to my house and cook for me?
I could, yes.
Okay, that'd be fabulous. And on occasion, she likes to shake that ass at the gym.
Not very well, but I enjoy it.
It's the mom twerk, owning the mom twerk every day. So I don't even care. People are like, you got a falloop, right? I'm like, bitch, I just had 2 babies that almost killed me. I'm the own my falloop. Like, you see on your skin. I'm like, well, when you're lying in the bed naked and thousands of people see you naked. Oh, that sounds harsh. Okay, not that naked. Hospital. I don't know. I was out cold. Okay, that still sounds awful. Listen, women go through things in the hospital. Okay, but anyways, after you become a mother, okay, there ain't no shame. All right, there ain't no shame. It's never the same with your husband. I need to write a rap song. It's no shame in the game. No one to blame. Telling you got a heart that's like a flame. Okay, that's it. I'm become a rapper if this podcast fails. All right, so what got you into the sport of strongman, transitioning from powerlifting?
Well, it kind of ties into how I got started in strength sports to begin with. I grew up on a farm, and I was 15 when we got satellite, and one of the first shows that I watched was the World's Strongest Man competition. And I just thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. And we didn't have that, obviously, out on the farm and stuff like that. But like the very next day, my dad was taking the dual tires off of a tractor. So I went out and I flipped a tire that he was taking off with a rim on it and everything. Nice. So I was like, this is just so cool, but they didn't have it. I had some friends that got me going to the gym, and I was pretty strong, like fairly strong right out the bat. And so one of them had mentioned about becoming like doing powerlifting meets. So that's how I started. I was just going to a gym, and then I moved to Moose Jaw for a bit. First gym I joined, they had powerlifting records on the wall. And so I was like, oh, you guys do powerlifting here? And they're like, we don't, but there's a group in the back that do. So that's how I joined Unparalleled, and I competed there for 8 years.
Oh, okay.
And I always, Strongman was always super cool. And then when Steve put on the very first Strong Women show, they're like, you need to do this. And so I was all signed up for it, but then I ended up having my ACL reconstructed. So I had to miss that one. But 8 months after I had my ACL reconstructed, I did my first Strong Woman show, and I got third in that one. And it was so much fun. And I just found it so much more challenging for me, because it's not just squat, bench, or deadlift. There's all these different events that you have to be good at. So it was that much more challenging for me. So that much more rewarding for me when I accomplish stuff.
Totally.
And it's just cool pulling trucks. So
I know, like whenever I love bragging to all the neighbors' kids, like especially if they're naughty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you better behave. I can pull a truck. They're like, no, you can't. You're like a bad mom. Because little kids are a-holes, man, straight up. Like sometimes, like the things they say to you when their parents ain't around. Anyways, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, you don't believe me? I got videos on my phone. And so, but yes, I mean, who else can trump that? Like if someone's like talking crap to you in a fight, verbal argument, confrontation, and they're like, so whatever, lose there, and you're like, well, at least I can pull a truck, okay? Like, well, what do you up that with? There's nothing you can up that with. Well, I got $40,000 make. Cool, but you can't pull a truck. I can save people by pulling trucks. We're like, strong women are like superheroes. Fact.
We are.
From the movies, you know?
But sometimes it can get you in trouble. And well, not trouble, but I teach cooking classes as well. And over the summer, last year, we did some youth ones, so some kids. And this mom came down with their kid, and she tells the kid, like, you better listen or else she's going to throw you over her head. And another mom was like, excuse me? And I had to be like, oh, I compete in Strong Women. Like, she's watched me compete. It's okay.
Oh my God.
I'm not just going to throw kids over my head.
I know, right? Like, that's the thing. It's like people assume that if you do strength sports, or you're like the jock type, that you're always like a tough, mean person. Like when I first moved into my neighborhood, like 9 months ago, my neighbor was he's like, I was really intimidated by you first. Like, I really thought you could punch people out. I'm like, I can, but I never have. Like, you know what I mean? Like, strong people are usually strong, you know, in sports, strongman or even powerlifting, like we're teddy bears, you know what I mean? So, but not if you mess with my kids. Okay, mom bear gonna come out. But yeah, no, I feel you. It's just one of those things where people don't know how to absorb it, especially if they've never watched the sport or don't know anyone else who does it. Like, they either don't know what it is, and if they notice it, they think it's a bunch of big fat dudes, right, lifting heavy stuff in the face. So it's like they don't know how to then like just be chill with you. And I'm very careful who I say to, because it's like I just want to be a mom with some people, or I want to be seen as a business professional. So it's like when people see your strongman, they just like, I don't know, there's have all kinds of imagination stories, right? So you're like, all right, well, so, and then when they find out, you're like, yes, that's my dirty secret. You feel very free, right? Like, finally let it out. So so going from powerlifting to strongman, how did you like adjust your training program to prepare to compete in strongman? Like, what are some examples of workouts? And obviously the nutrition is a big thing because of being a Ready Steel chef. I mean, you've seen all the diets over the years come and go, like keto and whatever else. And I'm sure getting to be the top of the top, right, and strongest woman, that is huge, right? Like, because I mean, people lift and they take supplements and they take steroids, but at the end of the day, like, that solid whole meals, like doing those things is what's going to get you where you need to be besides consistent training. So anyways, I'm curious, girl, talk to me.
Okay. Well, what were the questions again?
Okay, so Red Steel chef, nutrition for training, right?
But there was another question before that.
Because with strongman, I know with strongman,
the scheduling.
Like how do like, because I mean, I mean, I'm talking about hacks, girl, for the workouts. Like, what were some things you? Obviously, there's some things that you added or took away from your training when you went from powerlifting to strongman. And obviously you had to change, I think you had to probably change your diet a bit, but I had to. But anyways, who?
Okay, so for there's about a year where I did both my powerlifting meets as well as the strongman competitions. And I did like a ton, because when I had my ACL surgery, you go through like a dark, like, what if I never compete again and all that kind of stuff. So when shows came up, it's like, I'm doing it. So I did like, it was basically something every 2 months I was doing a competition. It kind of worked out to be. And all I really did was, when I was powerlifting, I trained 6 days a week. And so for 5 days a week, I would do those training. And then on the sixth day, I would go and train strongman, just do events like that. So that's how I did my weeks there, my normal training. And then 1 day a week, I would do event training. But like a month or 3 weeks before a powerlifting show or a strongman show, I would just focus there. So if it was the month before powerlifting meets, I would just train at Unparalleled, like just do my powerlifting training. But if it was the month before a strongman competition, I just trained at Metal in Regina, just to be in that mindset and that vibe, that air, like atmosphere and stuff like that. At this time, my diet, my diet when I started power or strongman, I actually was like 150 pounds when I started. I had a friend say that I should get up to 225, but I was like, ugh. But then I found out he thought that I was like 195. So he was only thinking of like putting 30 pounds on, but I was like, okay, I got to put on. So that was just put on the weight fast. So that was like teen burgers and blizzards. So that was not good. Just to get sized up.
I always laugh at these stories because like my genetics don't work like that. Like,
oh, mine don't either.
I eat nothing but like protein bars and real food all the time, like almost no carbs. Like I eat so healthy. And it's like, man, if I don't have to work to gain muscle or fat, like at all. So like when people I just went hard on Blizzard, I'm like, must be nice, bitch, must be nice. And this is lightweight, because I don't get that. That's so not fair. But I feel you though. When I first started, I watched Eddie Hall and like all these dudes, and they're like, I was like, okay, well, I'm sure they have proper nutrition because they're like the strongest men in the world. And then I've seen them eating cheesecake. I'm like, well, maybe you burn it off in strongman. I don't know. So then I had a little fluffy phase,
Yeah.
Because I was like, all right, I'll eat cheesecake at the end of my workout. They're doing it, And I was like, wait, this is not good.
No.
Adjust.
But yeah, that was just to put on size. And then after that, CASA had come out with the weight classes. And at that time, to go to nationals, they were only taking the winner of each weight class at first. So Tracy and I couldn't both go if we're both heavyweight, right? So I dropped. So I lost 30 pounds in 3 months. And that was knowing what I know about food and stuff like that.
But that's okay though, because the mass you're going to lose in a week is 5. So if you lost 10 amounts, that's healthy. You know what I mean?
And then I was that for my whole amateur career, was that 175 kind of thing was what I stayed at.
Pretty lean though. It's pretty lean for your height and being a strong woman though. Like people, when they hear these numbers, they're like, you know what I mean? Like bodybuilders, like, oh my God, I would die. Because you know what I mean? Like when I was bodybuilding, I was 170 and I was a size 4. And like they were like, you obese girl. But I had abs. Like I had visible shredded abs. And I mean, you can still lose more body fat when you're cutting, but I'm just saying like the lowest I probably would have gone down is like, like 150. But I mean, I'm 5'9". So for me, it's like my body has always been better at the 170, 200 range. Now that it's strongman, I've just got muscle over the years, like, because you just build and pack it on. It's like, I that would be impossible for me. Like, I'm like, that's not even in a, like, I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'd be lucky to get out of the heavyweight category, and I could, but then I couldn't do heavy lifting. Like my genetics, I'd have to do the 20 reps and, eat celery. So I'm like, no. So but I mean, like you said, 30 pounds is not that much. And I think people should try to play with that in a healthy way, right?
Yes.
Because all it does is up your game as an athlete, right?
Yeah.
So.
But I'm not that tall. I'm not even 5'3". So.
Oh really? You look so much taller in your picture. It's like.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God. I'm
16, pretty short.
So yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
I'm glad I at least look tall.
You're like a leprechaun.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Oh my God. So what was it that drew you into like strongman powerlifting? I mean, like I'm kind of curious about your story before. Like what did you do in the gym before? What were you into? Did you ever play sports? Like, because it just seems like every strongman just takes like everyday women and bam, like
Yeah.
360s the shit out of their life and they become a superstar. So,
Yeah.
taking it back,
Yes. Well, I think it does have a big part of growing up on a farm and stuff like that and that kind of work. And I've always been strong. Like I said, I remember when I was 18 was like kind of the first time that somebody got me going to the gym. And one of the first times I was like, oh, I want to max out my bench. Right. And I benched 155 my first time benching. So I've always
wow,
been
dude.
strong. So,
Yeah.
and I just always have liked that. Like the feeling I get when I lift weights is I feel like me when I'm doing that stuff. Like that's who I am.
So what were, like I said, specific movements? Can you name like 3 or 4 of specific exercises or movement patterns? Like I know you've explained it briefly, but did you like increase like the length of time of your training sessions? Like I think for the most part, strongman and powerlifting training is pretty standard. Like you can only place and plan so much, and what
Yeah.
works and doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I mean, balancing that, being a mom, like it does command so much of your time, right? So
Mhm.
do you think like being a powerlifter first gave you the discipline to be a strong woman, or just having like that strong community? Like how did you, like I said, how did you get from not doing that to just
Well,
get as strong, right?
I've always been super competitive too. So I think having that avenue, like having something to compete and train for has always helped with that. And I just remember my very first powerlifting meet. So I did that after 3 months of training. And after that first squat, I was like, I'm hooked on like competing in strength sports. This is fun. And it did, I did so powerlifting, I trained 6 days a week. And I know when I first started doing strongman, because we only do 3 days a week of training. And at first I was like, let's go more, let's go more, let's go more. But the intensity that we train at and all that kind of stuff changed so dramatically that
Yeah.
it's like, holy crap, sometimes 3 days a week is too much. Like my body.
Yeah, it does though. People
Yeah.
don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like when you're doing strongman, like the progressive lifts are so much, and people like to this day, like I wish I would have documented. I documented my workouts, but I didn't document enough, like in
Yeah.
detail, the story. But
Well,
it's like I would skip weeks like to recover, and I
yeah.
would even like some days I'd go only once or twice a week because I listened to my body, and when
Mhm.
I felt I was close to an injury or I was just plateauing, I'm like, you know what? The best thing I can do is rest, work on deep stretches, adjust things, and
Mhm.
move forward, right? So
Yeah.
I feel because people feel like people think you have to go balls to the wall with your strongman training all the time, and you don't.
Yeah.
Like not at all.
So I think the only difference, like say, so when I was powerlifting, I had like bench specific days, squat specific days, and deadlift specific days. And my accessories kind of were all things that complemented that, right? But in strongman, even when I'm doing like a press day, like your whole body gets used in that. It's not just
Oh yeah.
my arms, right? So I think that's why like everything gets used, whether it's a press day or squat day. So you need that time because your body's always being used.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Like to full capacity. So yeah. So talk about some meals that you prepared, girl. What you like to eat?
And pretty much anything and everything. I do try to get most of my protein from like food, right? Animals, steak, a lot of beef. I eat a lot of beef and chicken
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
pork.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a big fish fan, but I do
Yeah.
try to get as much as I can my protein from natural source. And if I need a shake here and there just to top it up, because sometimes like 200 and some grams of protein is hard to eat sometimes in one day. So
People,
just a little
okay,
help.
you think 200. Okay. Let me tell you, girl. I'm pretty sure I'm 300 pounds because I break a lot of chairs. And
Yeah.
I ain't even ashamed. Okay. And like, no shit. Like, people like, every guy I've ever dated, like before my husband was like a bodybuilder, so it's like, you need to eat more protein. I'm like, my stomach will like implode. I have food babies all the time. I'm like, do you know how hard it is to eat 300 grams of protein? It's literally impossible. That means
It's
that I
hard.
would have to eat 8 times a day. And
Yeah.
I will drink, I'm not shitting you, I will eat 2 protein bars at once, and then I'll drink a protein shake. So that's like 90 grams of protein
Hmm.
at once. And I put milk in it, obviously, for fat, because otherwise I would die. Just that
Yes.
much protein on your stomach is hard. It doesn't even bother my gut though, now that I've like pushed it so hard. But it's like, I cannot, if in food form, I can't even get,
Yeah.
in food form, I could, like, I just have a small stomach for my size. Like, I could eat maybe like 2 meals a day. And so, like, let's just say 100 grams, right? 100 grams of protein. So to jump three times that, I'm just sitting there eating protein bars like all day
Yeah.
long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes it is hard. So as much as I can, I get through real food, and then I just use shakes to get the rest. Cause yeah.
when I was like not a strongman, and I did when I was a full-time dancer and dance teacher, yoga instructor, I was like skinny fat, because I was like really skinny but like jiggle. My boyfriend's like, you got jello body, because you can't get that food from a vegan diet. And
Yeah.
so I got skinny, but I lost a lot of muscle mass,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And now like I have a like pretty almost non-existent sugar diet, like low sugar, and like low carb, and I just do high fat and high protein.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I'm like post recovery and like lifting day, I need to do a lot of protein. On the lighter days, that I do more like fat and then like some micronutrients. But I was just wondering if you had some recipes that are more packed in protein besides just a slab of steak that
Yeah.
you would, recommend to moms. Because I mean, moms were busy, we're on the go, especially moms are into the sport with kids, or they're teaching from home, they're working out from
Yeah.
home, right? And there's just a lot of shit you have to do in one day.
Yeah.
As a chef girl, talk to me. What are some things that press wise, budget, whatever? Recommend us something, girl.
Well, when I was doing my stuff, like I didn't vary my protein, like my meals a whole lot. I kind of stuck to like your chicken and pork and beef and stuff like that. And then for starches was just rice, potato, sweet potatoes, stuff like that. And the veg, that may have varied a little bit, but just finding a higher protein. Like if you're going to eat a yogurt, I would always find a Greek yogurt that had the most protein
Yeah,
in it, kind of thing. And then I would
yeah,
use like plain Greek yogurt instead of sour cream for some stuff too, right? Because you still get that tanginess, and it's more protein than the sour cream,
yeah.
stuff
I
like
feel you,
that.
girl. You know what? Honest to God, though, like people, here's a little disclaimer. I did an experiment. I should have recorded. I walked through the stores and I like recorded all the different zero sugar.
Mhm.
You need to read the back. People lie, man. Like some of them would be like zero sugar, and then I would turn it around. It would say like 16 or 26 grams of sugar per
Yeah,
serving. I'm like, how is it 0% sugar? Do you not know what the word zero means?
yeah,
Um, but it's worth it though. It's a really easy way to pack in your protein, and you could even sprinkle like other things on top of it, like right, like you can add
mhm,
nuts or whatever else.
yeah,
So like you said, it's like anywhere, like you just said, anywhere you can kind of slip it in,
yeah.
like
Like if you're
protein.
making a chili, throwing some lentils, and lentils are like super high
Yeah,
like and
yeah,
you don't need a whole lot, and they have a lot of protein. So just stuff like that,
yeah,
throwing
yeah.
something like that into something that we'd normally make anyways, and it just kind of adds a bit more protein to it.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of jokes I will not say on this podcast for the sake of you. But no, but the next, oh God,
Yeah,
I need, just have me raised by your uncle. Anyway, so you can add beans to it. I'm
yeah,
just putting a disclaimer out there. When you add this much protein, eat your fiber, people. Eat
yeah,
your fiber. You don't have carbs to absorb it. Oh
yeah.
my. But yeah, that was tough, man. That was because like when I was a vegan, I taught myself to hate meat, and you know, under the mindset you don't eat that much protein, and it's like I am heavier than I was, and it doesn't have mobility, not because of weight, mainly just because how having a baby has changed my body. But
Mhm,
I am healthier than I've ever been. You know, I'm like almost twice the weight.
mhm.
So your body needs those nutrients regardless of weight. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like that's
yeah,
the thing. Biggest thing for me is like I can't lose weight no matter what I do. I'm not sleeping and I'm stressed. My body
yes.
carries all the stress in my gut. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter that I don't drink or that I'm not eating cake every night. If I'm stressed, so I need to like, for me, I need to have my yoga, my stretch time. I get outside as much as I can, because the moment I'm in fresh air, I calm down. Um, and having like a warm bath at night for your joints, now to go to sleep. So just doing whatever you can to just not
Hmm.
be high stress level. I feel like as moms, we have to carry this emotional mental burden all the time, right? And anxiety, and we just have all these things that we're thinking about, and it's really hard for us just to calm down, have peace. So how did you like manage like having a career and doing this and training? Like what were some, because I mean, us moms, sometimes parenting is hard and there's high stress moments, right? So how did you deal with that without it letting you take you off trail with your training?
Yeah, well, I don't have kids, so that's one thing I don't have to worry about so much. I just have a dog. But like training, that was my life. Like I worked to be able to afford to do training, right? So my days, I know for a while, it was really rough because I lived in one there. So I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready to go to work. And then I would drive to work, which was like an hour away, work there. Then I'd drive to the gym and I'd wait until like my training partners came and stuff like that. And so by the time we were done training, it was probably like 11 o'clock by the time I got home. And then I was up again at 4 o'clock. So it just becomes your life training. Like that's, I've made like sacrifices with family and friends, but my training part, like my gym became my like friends and stuff like that. So
Yep.
I do have a hard time with normal people. Like
I feel you. I can't normal anymore. Like at all.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard when you don't have people that you
That's
can relate.
awesome.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was just saying you need people like around you that like understand the sport and understand these lifestyle choices and the grind and don't say stupid things to you like, oh, there's more life in the gym. Like, you know what I mean? That's so important to have a good support system.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
very
like
important.
Yeah,
For sure. Like I've been fortunate, like my family's been very supportive of it and stuff like that. So if I've had to miss family gatherings or stuff like that, which I try to not if I can, like I try to schedule my training around stuff like that as much as I can, but sometimes life happens and you can't, but they're understanding of that. And a lot of them come out to the shows and stuff like that, which is really cool. So they can see it's pain, like that it pays.
Right, like seeing that reward of that working people. So when did you start coaching?
I've started coaching a few years ago. Quite a few. I don't remember exactly. Yeah. It started with like when I was working out at the one place and I would come to Regina and I'd wait for them for like Tracy to come so for us to train. And it became like, well, while you're training, like while you're waiting, why not run some classes, some like beginner strongman, strong woman classes. So that's how that started with that. And then that just progressed into coaching because like I do have all these years of experience. I've done a lot of different shows, like international level for both sports. So I have a lot of experience to pass on. And I think having gone through like injuries and surgeries and stuff like that, it kind of helps with that too, because sometimes it happens in the sports, unfortunately, and you can pass on that knowledge because even just going through a surgery is hard, right? Like mentally too, for some people have the smallest of something happen and they're done, right? Because they just can't come back from that. Whereas I've seen some people, like a friend of mine basically exploded his knee, right? And he still managed to come back and qualify for Canada's Strongest Man, right? Like,
wow. Yeah.
So a lot of it is mental and just, so just having gone through stuff like that too, I can help others go through that too if something like that happens or
100%.
that kind of experience.
Like when I had my C-section, like that's why I was so terrified to have a second kid, because like my husband's 6'7", so like they get bigger time. Baby would have been 12 pounds if I didn't do some get him out. And like he's wearing 18 months to 2-year-old clothes, and he's 7.5 months.
Thank goodness.
7 pounds. He's almost as big as my neighbor's kid who was like turning 3. Like he's just tall. His head is as big as my freaking almost 5-year-old. Like he's just this massive baby. And like, they're like, do you want to push them? I'm like, hell no. They're like,
Yeah.
I fucked you up, and I'm like, yes, but I need my vajay for like
Yeah.
at least a while. I mean, I have a husband. He's got needs. So anyways, and I was like terrified. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen at the end. So it's like you have to be really mentally strong because the recovery process is hard, and
Hmm.
it is harder if you don't have someone like yourself, like
Yeah.
coaching and helping. So I think a lot of people talk themselves out of things and think that things are so radically impossible. Like
Yes.
when I right, like when I built my deadlifting platform when I was like 7 months pregnant, like it was probably the most hilarious thing if somebody was watching because I was just like a big boat just rolling
Yeah.
around on the ground, like nailing sideways, lying down because my belly was in the
Mhm.
way. And then I was able to use that. But we all need motivation, and sometimes you have to, have someone shouting at you with that motivation or to show
Mhm.
you that you can do it so that the impossible becomes possible.
True.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes it just isn't our mind. I mean, no, maybe when maybe your injury, you can't go now. Maybe you won't be the strongest person in the world, but doesn't mean you can't compete. That means doesn't mean you can't
Yes.
still win. Doesn't mean you
Yeah.
can't do different part of the sport, right?
Yes.
So
Exactly.
there's no real end. It's just whether or not you want to keep pushing for another day. Personally, it builds your confidence and you have a better quality of life if you don't give up. That's what I
Yes.
think. and
Yes.
and and, and resting is not giving up. Like I'm not lifting ginormously heavy deadlifts right now because I've got to be careful because I had a C-section
Yeah.
7 months ago, right? But I know that if I keep doing it, that I will get to where I was and be even
Mhm.
stronger.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
so on that subject, I mean, like with the coaching online, do you obviously do a physical training plan, but you also offer like meal plans and meal prep and that kind of thing?
I do nutrition as well for some people if they want that as well. So
Nice. Okay,
yeah.
so where do they find, like, besides, do they just contact you through IG or their website?
Face Yeah, Facebook or Instagram is where I do a lot of like most of my promoting for the online coaching and stuff like that on there too. So
Okay, girl.
yeah,
Okay.
you can reach out on
Uh,
there.
yeah, do it up. I mean, you're such a down to earth, nice person, a
Mhm.
kind
Thank you.
human, and I think it's so important to have a coach that is a nice human, but
Mhm.
can motivate you, but someone you feel safe with because it's important through life's challenges to just be able to be yourself, right? Because sometimes
Yes.
the training process and growth is ugly. Like
Yes.
sometimes you crash through it.
Yeah.
So with the training, what are some exercises that you recommend to people online, like with your virtual programs, that if they're facing challenges due to the lockdown or mobility issues?
Uh, it depends on what their mobility issues are too,
Oh,
right? But
yeah.
I just have a thing saying my connection is unstable, so I don't know if I'm gonna be on there.
You froze a little bit, but that's okay. You're still back. Don't worry.
Okay, perfect.
Like, so let's just say it's somebody who has like hip or back mobility or knee issues, right? Maybe they're a
Yeah,
master's athlete. Maybe they're like said a mom or someone who's never lifted heavy before.
yeah. Well, lots of it is not. A lot of people try to train through issues, which there are the odd thing that you can kind of train through, but a lot of them it's about training around them. So what can you do? Like right now, I have a very bad back. Like just a little while ago, I couldn't even stand up long enough to wash a sink of dishes because my back would just
I I can relate to
go.
that. Like, so I
So
want to talk. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second because I want to talk to you about that because that's pretty. Coming back from that is not easy.
mhm. So no, like right now, like we can't do any kind of extension or anything like that because that causes it to flare up and then I can't do stuff. So it's been a little tricky just
Yeah,
modifying things. So my bench is just all legs up so that I can't arch, like kind of forcing
yeah,
myself to not
yeah,
put
yeah,
myself into positions where I'm not
yeah.
going to be able to compromise myself. And then
Hmm.
just keeping things super light, higher reps, as long as it's okay, right? You don't want any flare ups, but a lot of it is just training around rather than training through. So finding what you can do
Oh yeah.
and do that. So something is better than nothing with a
Well,
lot of
yeah.
that. And once you're able to, like whatever time you've missed is going to come back so fast. Like it's going to feel
Oh
like you
yeah.
never missed it. But
Time is your best friend. Like when
yeah.
I had the C-section, Like I could barely, like just what you said, the dishes thing. Like I bought one of those old lady mobility chairs
Mhm.
and I couldn't even sit on it. For the first, I think 2 months after I had my son, 2.5 months, I had to just sit in the bathtub. I couldn't even stand up to shower. And then I
Mhm.
slowly worked up to the chair and then I slowly was able to stand. Like it was that, I was in that much pain. Like I had that low mobility, it was crawling up and down the stairs. So then for me to then do the walk and then to be able to start deadlifting, working is like, it's like, it's slow and steady wins the race, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
And,
just
and,
try to like, yeah, if your back doesn't work, try to like do stuff as seated as much as possible kind of thing. Like
yeah,
if I do shoulder press, I'm making sure I'm pushing my low back into that bench as much as I can so that I don't have any kind of extension, because even just a little bit will cause it to flare up, like even
yeah,
now. So I'm still waiting to see a specialist on my back, but because of COVID, everything is backed up. So,
yes.
but
I can understand that.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So what are some like rituals or structures of organization, such as tools you use to lead a balanced life, in your career and your workouts? Life hacks.
Pre-workout energy drinks.
Yes.
Those are a big part of training.
If you guys
um
haven't seen it on our store, the shirt is called If I Die, I Die, and that's literally what it's about because
yes.
I do caffeine like 4 or 5 times a day I can sleep after like an entire thing of coffee. Like I can drink a pot of coffee and I'd be like, you know what I mean?
Yes,
So
that's how I am. Yeah.
no, nothing else is gonna kill me. No car, no lightning,
Yeah.
not the police. It's gonna
Yeah.
be caffeine pre-workout on
Yes.
the ground. Don't
Yes.
worry, I won't sleep. Please keep sponsoring me.
That'll be me too.
uh, you were saying rituals, things you do. Get pumped, keep going,
um
organize your life.
I don't have so much about that. Like it's just because making things a habit or routine, like trying as much as possible training at the same time every day, so just it becomes a habit, knowing this time I got
Yeah,
to do this, so this time I got to do this.
yeah,
That makes it easy. Trying to just get that habit built up makes it easy.
yeah.
I dance a lot in my training. I don't know if that counts as a
I love
ritual.
that. Shake that ass for
I
me.
get
Ass
told
for
quite
me.
often to stop, but
It looks like there's always
I
like
don't
a
care.
guy who's like the rock and roll guy who is like almost like an old lady prude in his vibe for me. And he'll just give me a look, like there's no
Mhm.
twerking allowed in this powerlifting gym. I'm like, excuse you, bitch. Well, you better take away my membership. That's the
Yeah,
best part about home in a home gym because I can shake that ass in the front of a
yeah,
mirror by
yes,
myself or do a TikTok video and nobody gotta know.
yeah,
But like it's honestly dance cardio. Like as somebody who's taught dance, like I've taught dance, gymnastics, everything under the sun. Um, it's like the best thing for cardio. If you don't want to
hmm
be on a step machine and you don't want to do any of that stuff, dance. Dance at the end of the
yes,
workout. Dance at the beginning of your
yes,
workout for 20 minutes. It doesn't even have to be like a structured dance. Just like
hmm
kick that ass. But anyways, you guys, I also have dance tutorials and dance TikTok challenges. Just check out my YouTube. They're inappropriate sometimes, so don't have your children around because there's a lot of twerking. Grind on
yeah.
me on the floor, but yes, so
I
yes,
think
you shake
the
your ass.
biggest thing too is to
Go
have
ahead.
just have fun with the training too, right? If you're not having fun training, like even though it is serious, right? I take it
Yeah.
serious. I still want to have fun and enjoy it. So
Yeah, I mean, you can be both the well most of the time, but then what's going to happen is when you're tired or when you're sore or you have an injury or life is punching you in the face, then you will want to quit. And I feel like
mhm,
dancing for me, like I would much rather dance for 30 minutes like a dumbass in the gym or
yeah,
make my workout takes another half an hour, 45 minutes long because I was dancing in between sets than to not gone. Like whatever
exactly.
gets the shitty feelings out and
Mhm,
gets you in the gym, you know.
yeah,
So what else, girl? What
I
else do you
agree.
do? Pre-workout,
Pre-workout, I
shaking.
do a lot of that. It's not, I don't really have so much it's more like I have more rituals with competitions than I do with the training. So competitions the night before, I have to watch Conan the Barbarian.
Really?
Specifically the scene where he talks about what is
Uh,
best in life. So that's a must the night before. And then just food that I have for the competition. I kind of keep the same stuff. So
what do you
I don't
eat?
want, what do I eat for I have like, I bring like dried mangoes. I like mangoes. And you just want like quick, you don't want heavy food because you have to compete, right? But you want the quick sugar just to get you going. So I do the dried mango. I'll bring like some granola bars, or I like the raspberry shredded mini wheats. So I snack on those.
This is
Stuff
a
like
weird
chocolate pudding
thing.
is like a really quick sugar and it's easy on the stomach. So that's good to just get quick carbs in between. And it's not heavy. So
Oh, I'm gonna try the chocolate pudding thing.
yeah.
Oh. What do you eat? Do you eat breakfast before you go to a competition?
Yes. Big
Like, is
breakfast.
it like meat, like
Yes.
bacon, eggs? Yes.
Bacon, eggs, potatoes if I can. So, yeah.
What I've learned that because I used to teach all day long, and I would have breaks in between. I'd come home for like 15 minutes, half an hour, and run back out. And when I learned as a dancer, like especially when you're jumping, when you're teaching dance, you're jumping, especially teaching little kids, and like
Yeah.
it's the same as strongman. Jumping and pushing heavy weights will make you barf. So,
Yeah.
like I've always felt like they're like, oh, breakfast is stupid. I agree if you're not going to have a really highly intense labor day, but if you
Yeah.
are, you need to start the day right
Yeah.
because it's a lot harder like for like to start the day and then all of a sudden midday just throw a bunch of stomach
Mhm.
because then you get really tired. So I've always found for me it's better to have a proper breakfast, and I can go hours with just like my
Yes.
keto drinks and my
Yeah.
keto snacks and just chill and take care of my kids, run around the park, and then I make sure like my pre-workout meal, right? My dinner
Yeah.
is something that's like packed with nutrition, but I don't do it like a half an hour before because that makes myself sick, right?
Yeah.
I make sure I have that hour break. So it's like you said, you have to schedule, you have to commit to it because otherwise it just doesn't happen. Like
Yeah.
there's a million like like kind of gives me looks sometimes, and I'm like, you know what? If I don't do today, it's gonna have a collateral effect, and I'm gonna be grumpy, and I'm gonna miss my other workouts, and like I just find like having if I structure everything around my workouts, then it's like it's easy for me because I'm like, hey, if I have
Yes.
to meal prep, if I don't meal prep, if I don't clean on this day, I won't have time to do this. So
Yeah.
it makes it a lot easier if you do it that way instead of the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yes. I agree. Yeah. It kind of has to become your life, and then everything else kind of
Yeah.
fits in what you
You
can.
you can't try to fit it in the corner if you're training
No.
for strongman. That's
No.
not. It doesn't work that way. It has to be all round.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing though because it brings your whole life together, right?
Yeah. And I
Day
want to
of.
specify the mango and the chocolate pudding and the shredded meaty wheats are just before competition during a
Sure.
competition, not every training day.
Just in the corner, twerking, snacking on chocolate pudding. No big
Yeah.
deal. That's so funny, chocolate pudding. Man, I don't think I've had chocolate pudding since I was like 9. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
damn, I'll go grab a.
it can be vanilla too, or butterscotch, whatever you like.
Oh, butterscotch. Oh, oh my God. So there's like this Bowden Farms, like no calorie. I don't know if you tried their stuff, like their
Yes.
dress.
Oh, yeah. The syrup. Yeah.
Oh, the syrup, the caramel. You
Yeah.
put that in coffee or Greek yogurt, put in Greek
Hmm.
yogurt, it tastes like butterscotch pudding.
Yes.
Oh, so good. And like
Nice.
I don't do this half cup bullshit when I have Greek yogurt. I do a whole damn bowl.
Yeah.
I use half a container, whatever you call it. Okay,
Yeah.
half of the whole thing, every portion. I don't do this 1/4 sliver.
No.
What
No.
is that?
Their serving sizes. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
They don't
What?
know me. No.
I'm not trying. You don't know. You don't know me. I ain't trying to
Yeah.
be no stupid model over here. I'm trying to be skinny. What you talking about? Um.
Oh,
Anyways,
one thing that's really good, if you mix your protein powder in with like plain Greek yogurt or vanilla Greek yogurt,
yeah.
that's super good too.
Oh, and then it tastes like I've got this one that tastes like.
It's almost like a
Oh my
cheesecake
God!
type feeling.
There's a bunny beside me.
Oh.
Poor listeners. I had to escape my toddler because he wouldn't go to bed. Stupid lockdown. They closed down my school the other day, my kid's school. So he's at home. He's not socializing. He won't go to bed. There's a bunny, you guys, like a foot from me. I'm outside. I had to hide because he wouldn't go to bed. So I had to hide to talk to the fabulous. So, guys, he's approaching me. There's a bunny approaching me. Okay, so this might get really weird. I'm gonna stop making eye contact with the creepy bunny who's staring at me and try to. This is so crazy. I'm taking a picture, but I'm interviewing you on my phone. Oh God, he's getting closer. Okay. So Jesus, Lord, please help me. There's a weird, creepy bunny. Hello. So what's my next question? So anyways, what are some challenges that you had overcome, and how did you overcome them? So your injury. Let's go back to your injury. I need to pray. What you tell me?
Okay. Well, I have bad knees to begin with. Like I've had 4 surgeries on this one knee. I've had a Baker cyst removed. I had it scoped twice, and I had my ACL reconstructed. So I've had to basically, especially since this last surgery that I had, the whole backside of my kneecap is all just like cartilage damage. Like the doctor said they want to replace my kneecap, but if they did that, I wouldn't be able to do this sport at all. So I was like, well, that's not an option. So training around that, I've had to modify like how I squat, how I press, like basically everything has had to be modified because I can't use that knee like I would like to use that knee. And so even now with my back, like if I may never be able to get that extension that I used to, so I'm going to have to adapt how I do stuff, which will kind of suck because like when I press and stuff like that, I have a lot of extension because I kind of utilize the fact that I'm a pretty good bencher to press, right? So if I can't have that extension, I'm going to have to modify how I compete again. So it's not about quitting, it's about adapting and finding how to make it work for you. Like the one doctor basically said that I was done, and another said you just have to find what works for you to compete at the level that you want. So just taking that mentality and just finding what works for you to overcome that. And it sucks. And there's some days where my knee, because I got arthritis in it now too, so that's another stuff with it. So some days I can't squat because it's my knee won't let me.
I
Others
understand the knee
I
thing.
can. Pardon?
So I understand the knee thing. Like I
Yeah.
feel you on a deep
Yeah.
level on that one.
Yeah. So other days I can squat, but it's going to be to a high box because I'm not like, it won't let me get that depth. So it's just training around. Some days are good, some days are bad. So when the good days happen, it's really awesome.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Those always feel really good. And that's when I post a video. I haven't posted one lately because it's just been like drudgery workouts from like 9:45 at night to like 11, and I'm just like, or 11:30, and I'm just like a zombie. And the last thing I want to do is like make a video, but I'm like, I should have made a video. I just did a PR. But no lie, you guys, this buddy's in my ear always running away. Okay, thank you, because you creeping me out for like 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Just staring through my soul. What the hell? Am I one with nature? I don't know. You lucky I'm Irish. I would eat you right now, bunny. So anyways, yeah. So, so going back to like celebrating your body, now that you've overcome the challenges, and like just the subject of gaining weight, right? Because as women, that's something we're always been taught to be terrified of. Like back when we were kids, it was like 5 pounds, that's bad. 10 pounds, shit. 20 pounds or 30 pounds, you should go kill yourself, like right now, right? Like it was a big deal. So for a strongman to be like, oh, why are you coming back? 30 pounds to 100 pounds, right? Like I just want to, like, as a woman, from a woman to woman, and women who, because I see that on groups that for women who lift weights, but they don't do strongman or powerlifting. And it's always talked about. And it's like, women are always like, oh, like I have like my clothes fit better, but I weigh more. And I'm like, why do you still weigh yourself? Like I've never seen the point of weight. Like now that I'm not a dancer anymore, it's like, why do you weigh yourself once you join like strength sports? Like there's no point to me unless you're about to do competition or something, right? You got to weight cut and know where you're at. But other than that, like I think it's something that is more destructive than helpful. And it's not because I don't care about my health. Do you know what I mean? It's not because I don't want to be a healthy weight or eat healthy or exercise. But I was curious what your feelings are on that subject. As a strong woman.
I've gone through that like myself. So I like never wore shorts growing up, stuff like that, because my legs were big, right? All that kind of stuff. And I remember one time, like I had more so this was just a few years ago, probably only even 5 years ago, that I remember I wore shorts when I went home to my parents, and my mom was like, "You're wearing shorts," because she'd never seen me wear shorts.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I was like, so when you can start celebrating what your body can do rather than what it looks like I had more confidence in my body and myself when I weighed 205 than I did when I was a power lifter and weighed 150, which
Yeah.
I think is bizarre, because it was like, yeah, my legs are big, but like I can squat how much, like this much, right? So of course they're going to be big. Like I can do all these amazing things. Like my body as it is right now can do all these amazing things. Like I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of that had I been 150 even, right? But not that that's bad, but just that it should be more about what your body can do versus what it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, there's the odd like person who's like an ectomorph that's freakishly strong. And I will be interviewing some of those athletes in the Masters. I'm really excited about my lineup of guests. You guys check out our Facebook page and our website, like I said, tanstrong.ca, if you want to find out who's going to be on the show. And then, I mean, back to the whole body image thing. I never wore shorts because ever since I was a kid, I had cellulite, and there's a lot of science based on if genetics in terms of like your mom's weight, things that were eaten even by your mom's mom, right? And how it affects your metabolism. And so for me as a kid, I always sabotaged my own success, or I held myself back, or I put myself down, or I accepted less in life because I was like, you know what, I agree with people, because that's how you're raised, that's how you're taught, that's what you're around, is that mindset of like, you don't deserve to have a good looking man, or you don't deserve to have success in your career or business unless you look the part, you fit these certain clothes. Because there's been always so many movies and music videos that make fun of and not even a bigger girl, just a thick woman, right? Not even talking about muscles, right? And then if they showed women with muscles, it was always like hardcore,
so manly,
shredded. Yeah, it was. There was never anything else. And so for me, like, I just got sick and tired of it. I said, you know what? No matter what I do, someone's gonna say something. Someone said something my whole life. I'm gonna wear bright ass colors and wear what the hell I want and live my life, because I know who I am. I know what I do with my life, and it just shows your ugliness if you're gonna put me down. So I think like women need to stop waiting. I mean, so many women who are older, like master athletes and stuff like that, who still, dim their shine of their accomplishments, or put down their image, or still, like, maybe some people are afraid of Strongman because I think they have to be a thicker girl. Like I said, no. Sometimes, like, there's very small athletes who do extremely well, and it's just you don't know until you do it. So live your life, right? Like, and that's like, like when I started becoming a brand ambassador for Supplement King, there was this guy, like, I was waiting outside, I was doing some promo videos for them, and they were doing this giveaway, and this guy was like, oh, so did you approach them or did they approach you? Like, you can't be sick and fit, right? Like, you can't represent a supplement company. And I said, guess what, buddy? Times have changed, and there's all body types in fitness, and all body types are accepted. Like, it always surprises me when I get messages from this podcast and somebody be like, you know what, I really think it's amazing that you're comfortable in your skin. I'm like, why is that amazing though? What's wrong with my skin? Like, what's different or weird about it? So I just think, like, there's usually more people who are in support than against. And it's just like, the only thing that makes me sad is, like, now that I have kids and I'm older, it's like how much of my life I wasted in my 20s, just like covering up, right? Just like not like, with a swimsuit. I was wearing a one piece and skirt or shorts or whatever. And I look at those pictures and I'm like, man, like, talk about body dysmorphia, So Strongman is, like I said, definitely done that for me. And I think for men too, right? Like, stop trying to be shredded guys on Instagram. Like, some people do naturally look like that, but some people have had surgery or whatever. So it just doesn't matter. Like, just train, just work out, just compete, and whenever you look, who cares? Like, no one, I don't care personally. I don't walk up to people and other athletes and be like, so what you weigh, girl? Who went 5? What are you, size medium? By the way, anyone does that to you, please don't know. I'll smack them for you. Like, I'll jump on a plane. I'll smack them for you. It's all good. I got you, dude.
Well,
But
I
I
do
mean,
some youth classes too, and I know I had this one girl. She was 10, and she stepped on the scale. Like, she's tall. She for even for 10, like, she was like taller than me.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I know that's not hard because I'm short, but she'd
You are
stepped on the
short.
scale at her gym, and it said like 130 something, and she's like, "Oh, is that a lot?" And I was like, don't ever worry about what this says. Like, this doesn't tell you
Yeah,
people, like, this doesn't say how smart you are, how beautiful you are, how good of a person you are. Like, this is just a number. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, this doesn't say who you are. And I think that's a lot of younger girls nowadays, with how lots of things are like portrayed in the media, have that, like, for her to be only 10 and like asking if that was too much for her to weigh, which she's super tall, so she is like, she's really like lanky and all that kind of stuff,
yeah,
but
yeah,
to be worried about that number at 10, that was actually really kind of sad. So
yeah.
it sucks, but
I remember there when I was a kid, and when I tell people, I don't know if I've ever talked on this podcast, but in home ec class, like she was a bully. The way that I am actually glad that teachers and the whole school system out here in Manitoba is being flipped around, because some of the things that teachers have been able to say to kids over the years to get away with is deplorable. So
mhm,
when I was a kid in home ec class, I had the home ec teacher. She used to tell me she would not let me eat. When we cooked in the home ec class, she would not let me eat. So not only should she teach us high carb, low protein, kind
mhm,
of fatty foods like casseroles and stuff like that, but she wouldn't let me eat because she thought I was fat. She would verbalize this to me in front of the other classes and my classmates. And she would also, if she did let me, I remember she would just like give me a smidge, right?
yeah,
And she would talk about, well, Stephanie, like just assuming she knows me and what I eat, she'd be like, "Oh, Stephanie, if you didn't eat like this at home and you eat like this every day, you'd be skinny like your classmates." She put all the football players on the team. They were bullying me, making fun of me in the class at the table. I was just trying to eat what I made,
yeah,
and she encouraged it. Not only did she encourage it, she was like, put them all on the scale and said, "I bet you weigh more than them." And the linebackers, I'm not even shitting you. And it was like,
wow,
I like my body dysmorphia was so bad when I was a kid because of things like that. And
yeah,
for me to get to a place where I am now, like the only thing that upsets me is when somebody makes a comment still, you're like, really? Like at what
mhm,
point, right? At what point do people stop? I guess never, but
yeah,
it's like the thing is just like I have found this even my skinny friends, you know what I mean? Like that's what
yeah,
I'm saying. Someone will always say something regardless of your age, gender expression, your career. And it's like you said it perfectly. Number doesn't summarize who you are.
yeah,
And same with the numbers. Oh, the bunny's back. Bunny's back. I have a bunny friend. Maybe I should adopt and bring him back. I know he's a wild rabbit. It's probably a bad idea. But he looks like that bunny that's on that TV show. Like, what's that rabbit show where he's like a blue little shirt? Peter Rabbit? Yeah, he looks like Peter Rabbit. He's so great. He's so cute. His eyes are black though, so it kind of creeps me out. You ain't got no soul. Anyways, sorry, so I do this interview, you guys, with that freaking bunny beside me. Like, when does that ever happen in life? Just a caveman with my fire, and all of a sudden, Bunny's like, "What's up, bro? How you doing?" So, anyways, so my last couple questions is like, what would you do differently now? If you re-entered the sports, and what are some things that you have learned through your journey?
mm. Honestly, I don't know, excuse me, if I would do anything differently. Like, everything that I have done has led to all the accomplishments and all of that stuff that I've like accomplished. So I don't think I would change anything. Um, maybe have more belief in myself. I think that's one thing I do kind of lack, is I do question myself sometimes, but I think that might be the only thing, just to know that I am pretty cool and I'm pretty good.
You are pretty cool and good.
So
I just want to hug you and stuff, but I got some tears. I wish I had a shot right now. It's times like, you run away, buddy. I got a little loud. It's like, oh shit, oh god. Anyway, so um, like for the women who are listening in, who are, like I said, brand new to this, what is like the one piece of advice or positive, uplifting thing that you could say to them
do it for yourself. Do it for yourself. I've had, I don't want to say too much just because in case they watch, but I've had a lot of negative stuff from close family and stuff like that. Just because the whole, you know, it's not feminine, guys like feminine girl, like stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
But if I would have stopped, if I would have listened to those people's, I wouldn't have national records. I wouldn't have world record. I wouldn't have done all of that had I listened to them. But I did it because I wanted to, not because I was doing it for them or anything like that. Like I did it for me. This was who I am. This is what I wanted to do. So regardless of what I said, and like I said, and now like they're big supporters of me. So it just, you just do you do you, right? Regardless of what people say, you do you, whatever makes you happy. Because had I listened to them, I wouldn't have accomplished or done any of that stuff that I've done. So
yeah. And also, by the way, Karen, my husband want to tap that ass every time I work out. He'd be sending me like dirty messages. I'll be like in my gym and he's like, hey, you working out? Topless? I'm like, shut up, you pig. Men. And he's like, what you wearing? I'm like, you know what I'm wearing. I came up to the bedroom where the kid's at and got my workout outfit. But, you know, it's always helped our relationship in that sense. Like, you know, he'd come home from sports all sweaty and smelling like success. Check out Alyssa Anderson's Inspire shirt on our store. Smelling like success.
Yeah.
Because that's what that means, you know, sexy, savage, fresh. And it's worth. So both of us are now recommending it to you people. So do it up, my sex panos. But yes, love yourself, man. It's really simple. It's like knowing that you have one life, it's yours. You can never redo it. You can never restart it and go back and do it again. And what most people regret is what they didn't try. Yes, exactly. I regret some things I tried and made some mistakes, but I regret more of the things I didn't try. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And this whole delusion of you're less feminine is really dumb because I just had another baby. So whatever. And my beef ball is a butterball because I was working out because I didn't know I was pregnant. Me just sitting there like, man, what did I put in my lasagna? You know? What happened to my chili? My tummy hurt, you know? And I wasn't even like, duh, dumbass. I didn't think. And then, and because most of my husband just got mad because when I had my birth control 4 years, so a lot of times I thought I was pregnant and I'd give him a panic attack. And I'm like, just kidding, I'm not pregnant. I just had my period and I don't know anything. And so you'd have a heart attack. And so, like, when I found out I was pregnant, he's like, okay. And he went back to sleep. I'm like, no, I'm serious. I'm pregnant. Look at the stick. Read it. So anyways, it makes you very healthy and strong, period. This baby is way healthier than my first son, who I had when I was a skinny little vegan dancer. So that's science, okay? He's extremely healthy. So take that and shove it, Karen. You know?
Well, I'm sure it would help with the recovery and everything too, right? Just being in better shape before make things a little bit easier.
Well, I was in better shape. It was just different shape, right? Because I was working out, like I was lifting weights, light weights, and I was biking everywhere. I was running, I was rollerblading, I was swimming, I was dancing. Like I definitely on the cardio side for sure. I would just say I have a much higher protein diet. Not necessarily, I was never a high sugar diet anyways, but, and I just wasn't getting enough calories. You know what I mean? Like I'm just not healthy that skinny. I'm just not.
Yes.
You know? No. So that's kind of where I'm at. Whatever makes you healthy and happy, right? That's what you should do. So, but thanks again for being on our show and sharing your story. And like I said, you guys, you can find her up on IG. She's also under our athletic directory on our website. And stay tuned for merch. We're going to be launching more merch in a few days, which is really exciting. And most of it's inspired by our elite athletes, our guest speakers, like the lovely Tanya. So watch out. I'll be posting something with that. And you know what I mean? Like, let us know what you guys think of the podcast episode, comment, share. We care about what you and what you need. And we will be interviewing the amazing April H next week, like our next show. And we'll be interviewing international guests from across the globe who are, you know, world record holders and everything from like Olympic weightlifting, Scottish heavy games, strongman, everything. So yeah, there's so much to learn from these amazing women, and they're always there for you, right, Talia? They message you on Instagram, you want to answer, you're like, hello, hey girl, hi.
Yeah.
And so can you, like, what do you just offer one standard coaching program, or is there like a couple different
Everything is kind of built around what the person wants, right? I have people who want X amount of days such week, or they want a little bit of both in the program. It's all built at whatever their goals are and stuff like that. So it's not a one specific program that everybody gets. It's all built on what the person's goals are.
Yes. Well, that's perfect. It's built from the ground up, unbreakable. So yeah, you want to train like a badass panda, get in touch with her. Also check out our Spotify playlist. We have Train Panda Strong, and then Train Panda Strong our cardio. So check us out for the hottest beats to twerk to. Twerk, work, 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 work. When you're at the gym. And yeah, wear our apparel, you know. Oh, and do our check out our monthly, like I said, our dad's fitness challenges that were designed in partnership with the guest speakers, because we give away merch from our store, which is pretty awesome, supplements, and cash money. Make it rain, make it rain, make it rain. So all you gotta do, you guys, is a true story. I'm mailing out. I'm a boss ass bitch. Just, you know. Anyways, gotta make it rain everywhere I go. But all you guys gotta do is record yourself doing one of the challenges and upload it to Facebook or IG and tag us in it. Otherwise, we don't know you did it. Sorry. And you could win every time you do a duet.